let's talk about what's going on with unions. You may have noticed over the past couple of weeks, months, maybe, some slight coverage of unionization happening across the United States and other parts of the world. We've talked about it here, but Starbucks, Amazon, Apple. So Apple stores having their first moves towards unionization in certain areas, and good for them. Like, we are big supporters of unions here on this show. And it's funny. I talk to a lot of my conservative friends who say, that's one area that I'm absolutely staunchly a supporter of is workers' rights and supporters of unions and how they've helped my family. So for instance, like Apple stores, with some friends who've worked at Apple stores, they tell us it's absolutely grueling work, constantly on your feet, in and out, dealing with different clients and helping them do this, do that. You're constantly moving and shaking. Like, it's grueling, long-term work.
I would die. I would rather die than talk to someone, sorry, Mom, but like my mom about her genius problem and like, can you help me back up my photos?
So instead of working for Apple doing it, you do it for her for free. When she's here.
I try to avoid doing it.
I walked in on them one time where she's like, Mom, no, Dropbox. It works like this. Mom, no. She's like, but it's right there on the thing, and it's not there on the thing. And she's like, Mom.
Right click it. How do you right click it? And I'm like, Mom.
And I just turned right around and walked out.
I would die. And so for that reason alone, there needs to be a union just
to deal with people like you.
To deal with it, but yes.
Okay. I'm saying it nicely.
I'm gonna get in big trouble.
Philip, who's running the show here in the background. Philip used to work at Amazon. Like, it's grueling, right? I mean, I don't know what your situation was, but for many of those Amazon employees, like, on their feet all day, trying to meet quotas. Not even, we've heard the stories, right? Not even able to go to the bathroom. Like, if you do, like, you're docked time. So people peeing in bottles, certainly on delivery drivers. But would you say it was grueling work where you worked at the warehouse, Amazon warehouse?
Yeah, I mean, without giving the full story, I mean, overall, actually, and I'm an outlier, so I hate saying this because I know the point you're trying to make, but I actually really enjoyed working there. But because I'm kind of a maniac, like I like to never have downtime, and so for me, it was like, oh hell, I'm going to get paid to go work out for 10 hours, and that's what I did. I mean, I would cover. So I was at AFM for most of the time, but I basically everything I did there, I would cover about 18 to up to 30 hours, miles a shift.
Wow.
Is how much I moved.
18 to 30 miles. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
And we know, like, we've covered here on the show that you've talked about, like the apps that track you and quotas that you have to meet and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. But see, for me personally, it was a great experience. But I also had a lot of coworkers, and it was grueling on people. I mean, that's not everybody is cut out for some of the level of what's going on there. But at the same time, they pay better than everybody. They basically don't care. You can go work there, and they paid pretty decent, I should say, not better than everybody, but decent for the amount of education they required. But it's also like very grueling work. Absolutely.
Well, we've seen a number of it's not just about like being on your feet labor, right? It's also just making sure that you're getting paid time off, and there's other benefits to labor work, of course, right? All of it. So now we're seeing a number of unions right now across Europe which are going on strike, right? There's a number of I'm trying to see if I can pull it up here. I don't have it just yet, Philip, but there's a number of labor unions in the UK and other areas that are going on strike. The Heathrow staff.
In fact, British Airways has decided that they will go on strike, but they are protesting a 10% pay cut. And the union has decided that they will wait till the second or third week of July when holiday travel is at its peak so that the pain is felt more acutely by the airlines.
So here we go. Union targets your summer holiday in pursuit of more pay. The Heathrow staff, also like rail staff throughout England. And so there's a real crisis about to unfold over workers' rights and pay in Europe. And so now the new tactic, like, this is literally coming from members of parliament in Britain, which is from Sky News. Here, let's put this tweet up here. I say to the unions, this comes from member of parliament, Tobias Elwood. I say to the unions, please don't be Putin's friend. So rail strikes are causing huge self-harm to the UK, adding that Russia must be enjoying this self-inflicted distraction. So here's Tobias making the point that if you try to unionize and you try to get more money, you workers, that you are aiding Putin. Listen.
What do you think about the rail strike?
Well, I do hope, this. We're talking about the cost of living crisis here. We face huge economic headwinds, yet here we are causing such huge self-harm as the country is brought to a halt. I think Russia must be enjoying this self-inflicted distraction, pleased to see that the one government in Europe that is actually standing up to Putin is completely distracted in this way. I do hope the unions now call off future planned strikes. There's a new deal on the table. This isn't just disrupting commuters, including key workers, but also students as well, and indeed the hospitality sector, such as in Bournemouth. That's nationally, I think, will lose around £1 billion this weekend. It's also, can I say, Armed Forces weekend this Saturday. And that's where we say thank you to those who served and have served. I say to the unions, please don't be Putin's friend. Return to the talks today so we can get the country moving again.
Yeah. So if you want to become, if you want to unionize, you
want to strike and then you will not be paid. That really will assist Putin. So what he's saying, and I'm having a hard time of making this connection, is that...
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Is that Putin will say, oh, England was my biggest foe in Europe, but now they're distracted with household strife, right? And so they won't be able to stand up to us as robustly because they're dealing with wage disputes.
Right. So I think maybe you guys could help us out in the chat here, man. Any of our British watchers, viewers right now, or anybody from. And by the way, I was also insulted. He talked about he talks about the UK really being the one power in Europe that's standing up to Putin. Like, really? I don't know if you've been paying attention to NATO and the EU. Like, did you see what the Prime Minister of Estonia said today? I mean, she did this Associated Press interview where she basically said, like, we can't roll over. We need to stand strong, funnel more money, funnel more time, more effort. Sanctions are hurting, but we need to even have more sanctions. Like, they're all standing. Look, do you see Lithuania? So he's saying the UK is the only one standing up to Putin. They're all standing up to Putin with these draconian sanctions and hurting people. So I think what he's saying is that if workers go on strike to want to get higher wages, that they are playing into Putin's hand, because then we're going to weaken our economy at home if we have rail strikes and people can't use public transportation and they can't fly to their vacations in the Algarve.
Maybe. I sort of thought of it as like, hey, mommy's working right now. Don't come to me and ask me to open your juice box and give you more.
You think that?
Like, hey, let us focus on this war. We can't be dealing with you and your wage. Yeah. That was sort of how it came to me. Like when you're working and your kid's like, please open my,
right.
Open my juice. And I'm like, no, mommy's working. Okay.
It reminds me literally of like the MSNBC story that we just played a few moments ago. I mean, where you had the Washington Post reporter saying, stop complaining. Don't even, you're doing fine. Stop complaining. We just had COVID. You're just lucky to be alive. So I know you're paying more for everything. Just deal with it. We're also fighting Putin right now. So look.
Can't be dealing with you. Your wage requests.
They can send billions of dollars in weapons. Boris Johnson can fly over to meet with Vladimir Zelensky and have big meetings with them and run that puppet regime. But when you want a 10% increase in wages because you're working grueling hours on the rail systems or at Heathrow. By the way, have you ever been to Heathrow?
Yes.
It's not easy. People work their asses off at that place, right?
Yes. Yeah. They have a Yo Sushi there, which my kids go crazy for.
So all of those people that want to fly all over Europe and they want to go on their summer vacations and they want to fly to Ibiza or wherever, you know what? Maybe the workers who are helping you get there, and
maybe they should be paid commensurate, given that they were considered essential staff for a long time, and went through a lot, like we all did. So
Kevin on our team here says a gas station owner told him yesterday the gas station makes 5 cents per gallon. 5 cents per gallon at the gas station? Holy smokes.
Maybe I should stop. You know, I go like if I go and pay like an actual person recently, I'm like, oh, it's expensive, right? I'm just kind of like trying to be jovial because I know that they're getting a lot of crap and being like, yeah, it's a lot. And they just have stopped smiling at me altogether. Like, we hear this.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear this from you anymore. So given that
So
update, I'll stop doing that.
Go ahead, Phil.
I would have chimed in a little bit earlier, but it took me a good 2 minutes to stop laughing after the whole like Putin and unions don't be Putin's friend, because like, so the way I took it, and I could see like Natalie's take on that, but the way I took it was the association they're trying to make with like, because they still like to do the whole communist Russia thing into like unions where they literally had nothing to do with each other. And what I think is so funny is like unions came about because there were like literally businesses that were not paying people like in the United States that were not paying people in money but paying them in company tokens so they could only buy from the company. They basically were like slaves. And so when people didn't like that, the unions, along with like the United States government, like the FBI, actually murdered workers to get them to go back to work. Like this is not a Putin thing. Like the unions are like a very Western concept because they were very, very necessary and are still necessary.
Yes.
So I love this connection. Like, you know, thanks Putin, thanks for all these unions all over the United States. Like, dude, come on.
But that's an American thing.
Yeah, all these people that want to unionize at an Apple store, thanks Putin. Like, you're just falling right into Putin's hand if you want to unionize at your Starbucks. You want to make a few extra dollars. You want to make sure that you don't have to work. What was it? The story out of was it the Nabisco factory or whatever, where these people they had to make that crappy cereal, or General Mills or whatever. Remember we had that story here on the show a couple of months ago where
that was Frito-Lay.
Oh, Frito-Lay. Yeah, where they weren't allowed to take any vacation time during the pandemic.
Yes.
Because people needed to get their highly processed, crappy food.
And they wanted to stop paying them overtime wages by giving them fewer days per week, but extending their shift so they would be working the same number of hours. And they would no longer be paying them for overtime because of the way they were structuring I'm not remembering it properly, but it was like, you'll work the same amount, but we will no longer pay you overtime for it.
Right.
Even though, again, these people were considered essential. They had to, get out and work while the rest of, sort of cushy middle class Americans could do everything on Zoom.
Right.
They still went out and risked their healths, what we were told during the pandemic, right? But no, we can't offer them these basic sort of human dignities.
That's right. We're going to talk about Russian sanctions in a moment and an unbelievable New York Times piece. Natalie's going to dive into that. But first, we're going to tell you how you can get 11 free stocks right now through the end of June. So almost running out here on Moomoo. Just a few more days to get up to 11 free stocks valued up to $25,000. You get 10 free stocks plus a bonus stock of Lucid just for opening your account and making your initial deposit. So if you go to redacted.inc/Moomoo, Moomoo, M-O-O-M-O-O, it's a trading app designed to help identify stocks faster than ever before. And when these brokerages compete, you win because guess what? They want to attract you as a customer, and they want to provide you the best experience. So there's competition, and they're giving away all these free stocks just for you to sign up right now. Again, through the end of June. So you've just got a few more days left to take advantage of this to get 11 free stocks. And even if you don't do anything else with this account right now, you open the account, you get some free stocks, and then if you make it a little deposit in the account, you get the additional free stocks. You're entered in for a chance to win. And each stock, all told, up to $25,000. As if you get all of those, the way they spin the wheel to give you those free stocks, you have the potential to get all of it. See how they spin it? You can get AMC stock, you get Apple stock, you get Tesla stock, Google, all of it. So why not take advantage of this right now and learn and get some stocks for free? And then, of course, you can do trading on your own later. Anyway, go to redacted.inc/Moomoo today to get your 10 free stocks. Thank you for supporting our show. They support what we do here and support independent journalism. So our thanks to Moomoo for supporting the show. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. We've been banned, we've been blocked, we've been censored. That's why we started our own website to stay connected with you for free.
That's right. So head on over to redacted.inc and make sure you're connected with us. You can sign up again at redacted.inc, not .com.